What's up, guys? Welcome. My name is Kristy, and today we are talking about the upcoming Aquarius Full Moon. So I'm doing this little video a little different than usual. Usually I would be, pre-recording this and setting it all out to you, but I have decided to do this one, a little differently. We're going live, and I'm adding a little bit more ceremony time, a little bit more of a reading into this one. Usually I do lunar alchemy healing ceremonies, but as I've been tuning in to myself, my soul, I'm going to actually put those on pause for a while. So I wanted to do these little full and new moon updates with a little bit of both. So if you haven't been here before, what we are doing here is dropping into almost a mini ceremony. I'm going to talk to you about what the astrology is doing so you understand that, how that could potentially be relating to your life. We're going to read some cards, pulling some cards here. There might only be one today. And I'm going to offer you some journaling prompts to really sit with. We're not at the full moon yet, but it's upcoming. So you can come back to this video again around the full moon. I'd highly recommend that. And walk you through a mini little meditation as well. So looks like we've only got one card today. We're going to start with this card. So firstly, I want you to just take a nice deep breath with me. Let's close down the eyes for a moment. Take a nice deep inhale. A nice deep exhale. And just give permission to yourself to let go of the busyness and the distraction, on social media and YouTube. It's so common to just be so incredibly distracted by all the things that are going on. It's so easy to swipe past. But what if you could just give yourself permission for the next 15, 20 minutes to just be here? To just be here, to be with yourself, for yourself, to receive wisdom and guidance and insights and expansion and maybe some healing. Take one more deep breath, remembering that you can come back to this when we hit the full moon, but trusting that you'll receive whatever it is you need today. So the card that we've pulled today is intuition. I'll show you in a moment. You can keep your eyes closed. Intuition and knowing. Ancient and infinitely wise, I live in the ocean of the heart. Beyond your mind, I am. In pure presence, all of the answers reveal themselves. You feel it in your bones, in your gut, even if it doesn't make sense to the logical mind. Your primal instinct speaks through your body. Her wisdom is lighting the path for you. Are you willing to follow her guidance? Tune into the intelligence of your physical body. Your intuition is speaking through your nervous system. She sets off alarms in every cell, tightening to protect you from harm. She relaxes and expands to affirm your safety. Intuition does not conform to the reasoning of the mind, which seeks to override the deeper knowing of your heart. Trusting the body over the mind often means making decisions without logical rationale. It means being brave enough to act from the feeling and allow for time to show us the why. So this is the card, intuition. And, there's some nice truths in that reading. However, sometimes our body can hijack us. Like instinct and intuition is very different. Our instinct, our nervous system can heighten to show us danger that maybe we didn't really consciously, logically connect with why is there. But like our intuition and our higher guidance always comes from this deep space of like peace and safety. It's soft and gentle. So there's some overlap there. And that sense of kind of trusting that intuitive pull and what is pulling us forward is definitely baked in to this full moon. So let's head over to this. I'm going to add this up here. I'm just going to change the screen around a little. There we go. So this is what the full moon looks like in the sky, in the chart. Don't pay attention to the houses because this is pulled for Perth, Western Australia. So the timing that we're looking at is Wednesday, 29th of July at 10:36 p.m. This is the height of the full moon. So make sure you are translating that to wherever you are in the world. And we can see the moon here. Let's see if I get my pointer on there. Yeah, the moon here. Full moon's always opposing the sun. That's what makes it full and bright in the sky. So there always is this opposition point between these two signs. There's always a balancing point that's coming into harmony when we look at a full moon. And a full moon really, it's the climax point. It's full, it's heightened, it's illuminating, it's lighting up the sky. So it also brings this sense of illumination to us and to our lives. So if you actually know your own birth chart, you can look at this full moon's happening in Aquarius. We can see the Aquarius sign here. You can look at what house rules Aquarius in your chart, and you can actually come back and look at, okay, where is this happening? What is highlighting? And this is going to be important, not just for this full moon, but for a longer cycle that we will be going over the next couple of years. Because while this full moon isn't an eclipse, we are actually heading into eclipse season next month. The next new moon and full moon in August are actually going to be eclipses. So eclipses bring a little bit more heightened, unstable energy. And while we don't have an Aquarius eclipse right now, we are moving into that area of the Leo and Aquarius bouncing back and forth eclipse season, which lasts for a couple of years, bounce back and forth for about 18 months to 2 years, again, depending on where these other kind of eclipses are coming into play. So, and we can see the North Node here has moved into Aquarius for this full moon. So this full moon might feel a little eclipsey. It might feel intense. It might feel a little disruptive and unstable. And there's other reasons for that. So I would highly recommend that you really pay attention to what comes up in this area of your life over this full moon, because it will be painted into the bigger picture of the eclipse season that brings big endings and big beginnings, change in our life. So make a little note of what's happening for yourself around this full moon. So we can see the full moon Aquarius and Leo here. And when we're looking at this, we often are looking at the polarity between I, my needs, and the all. Leo, it can be very much self, very much focused on me. It's that archetype of the performer. Whereas the Aquarius part of our chart really starts to look at the collective. It's not about just I, it's about the we, it's about the all, it's about humanity. Aquarius has that very logical, it's an air sign, so very logical nature of like, what systems are we putting into place for our future collective? Aquarians can often feel a little alien sometimes, a little like they don't belong, which is a shadow side of Aquarius, because they're so future thinking. They're so thinking about what are the systems and what is happening in the collective, and how can we make systemic change? How can we really anchor in? The traditional ruler is Saturn, so anchor in systemic system change. The modern ruler is Uranus, so there's this, again, electric type of energy, this sense of breaking down old traditions that's interesting and comes with Aquarius nature, that like really asks us to tune into our own authenticity, but not just for ourselves, for the whole, because truly we are a part of this greater whole. We are a part of the greater collective. And this opposition, and with everything else that we'll talk about, is really bringing that to light for us. Like, where are we maybe being a little bit, self, and forgetting that we are a part of this greater collective? Um, Leo's also about this, like, there's this leadership vibe. And Aquarius, it can be this leadership in the sense of leading for something greater than myself. So, I mean, that's what's coming through. So, this full moon, it's like, how can we really start to look at how we as people, as individuals, are stepping into this role of inner self leadership, shining our authentic light, which is very Leo, in a way that supports the whole, knowing that we are connected to the whole, to humanity at large. And where can we bring the power back to the people, the power back into community? So we can see over here in Leo that we have what we call a kazemi. It's where the sun meets up with another sign. And it's like the sun and Jupiter, which is here, oh, sorry, my cursor is a bit different on this screen. So Jupiter and the sun are meeting up, and it's kind of like there's this highlighting. So the sun shine, our ability to shine, and Jupiter, which is like larger than life. It's big, it's expansive, it's very optimistic. It also asks us to really think beyond, expand our vision. So there's this expansiveness in the sense of self in the area of our Leo area of our chart as well. If you're looking at your chart, that is really creating something huge for this full moon. Like, there really is a like big energy that is happening here. But what's happening over in the Aquarius part of our chart, where the moon is that Pluto is here. And we have this opposition. We've been having this opposition with Jupiter and Pluto, which went exact last week. And there's still energy that's playing out here, which I'll talk about in a moment. But Pluto, it's the underworld, it's the depth, it's transformation. It's like it will go so deep to pull any, whatever the image I'm getting is, like we're pulling the rotting roots out of something. Like, what roots? What has been hidden and what's been rotting away that's stopping us from actually standing in that ability to shine, and shine as part of the whole, like that leadership that's connected to the whole? What has been rotting away, hidden in the Aquarius part of our chart, but also in our collective, that keeps us separate, that makes us believe that we don't belong, like the shadow sides of Aquarius that are going to be highlighted and excavated and pulled up on a personal level on this full moon, so that we can really heal it. And there's a square happening here, a loose square happening here with Chiron. So there is this healing pain, like what wounds are coming up in order to be healed and worked on through this moon, so that we can step into a more authentic leadership in part of ourselves that's connected to the community. And because the North Node is in Aquarius, even though it's quite wide, it's still conjunct by sign. There is this sense of intensity and insatiability, like a need that we must grasp around this full moon. So again, it highlights this level of intensity that this full moon may bring us. And I mean, that just feels really big, right? It just feels really huge, necessary. It feels, even though this is a full moon of highlighting, it feels like a moment of planting a seed. It feels like a moment of commitment. I'm committing myself to this path. What am I committing myself to? What do I want in the future? What's starting here? What am I getting on board with here that's part of the whole? What am I healing here that's supporting the all and the future? Again, Aquarius, future. That's very important. Okay. Hope you are feeling the vibes because I'm feeling them as they are starting to move through me as we're talking about this. Now, you may have heard this thing called bar bolts. Hope I'm saying that correctly. Basket. So we can see this all these blue lines, right? They're making this shape of a basket of something being held. And this is a huge time where all of the outer planets, so Pluto, Neptune here, Uranus, and then even we've got Jupiter here as well, creating this, and the Sun, creating this little basket, this little weaving with all of these elements that is, I mean, all positive, which is great, but creating this time of collective change in the sky. So there are big things that are happening with the outer planets, collective, transpersonal, that is just happening now in society out in the bigger world. And it's being held. But this opposition here of Jupiter and Pluto, which again started kind of last week, but is continuing and is baked into this full moon. I mean, the oppositions are like hard. It's like two planets at the opposite end of a boxing ring, kind of fighting it out. Um, there's a breakdown in leadership. There is a breakdown in, I want to say, like the old controlling patriarchal ways, the leaders that have had the control, the power, the money, that are very in it for self, like the Leo shadows that are coming to the surface now, and we are seeing it. And all of this change, Neptune on a positive light, like what are our ideals for the future collectively? What do we want our future to look like if we were dreaming a new future into being? Uranus, it's unexpected shifts and change, breaking down the old systems, literally calling for this revolutionary energy, more authenticity to come through. Jupiter, expansion, wisdom, optimism, positivity, and Pluto, like just transformation. And transformation doesn't come that easy sometimes. Transformation really takes something. So all of this is happening and is baked into this full moon on a collective level. So again, personally, we might be seeing this inside of ourselves. And this is kind of like the halfway point of a bigger synodic cycle. So back in 2020, Jupiter and Pluto were conjunct, and we all know what 2020 was happening, the whole COVID show, which really did expose and highlighted a lot of these control systems in our world. And so we're really being asked at this time as well to look back to what we were learning, what got highlighted, what was happening in 2020. And again, maybe what painful parts of what was going on then are being revisited, and how are we working with that, and how are we integrating that into our lives from that point of time. That's a huge piece of this full moon and what will be highlighted. The only other thing that I want to mention here is the Mars and Venus square. So sometimes this can, and Mars is overcoming Venus, so it's got a little bit more pull, and a square is challenging. So this can sometimes look like conflict in relationships. This can, on a positive note, even though it's not a really positive aspect, can look like motivation to change things, motivation for peace, for harmony, for equality on a collective level. This can look like challenge for femininity, Venus. So, yeah, if anything comes up that feels a little pokey, a little harsh in relationship to that sense of connection, artistry, femininity, relationships, that is also baked into this full moon and something that we might see. So I'm going to stop sharing the chart now, and we're going to just come back into a state of connection. So if you want to come back to this point on the full moon when we're a bit closer, feel free. But if you want to start to tune into this now, we're going to go through a sense of some journaling prompts. So if you have a pen and a paper, I'm going to give these to you now. We'll read through them slowly so you can start to reflect on them a little bit and start to really notice over the coming days as we head to this full moon, what is happening here? What is this question percolating in my mind? And how can I use this in order to create some change for myself with what the full moon brings? So firstly, I want you to reflect on, what am I integrating from the past, from 2020? What was going on then? And what am I integrating from that time in my life? Shadow side of Aquarius. Where am I abandoning my authenticity in order to belong? And maybe where do I believe that I don't belong if I am standing in my authentic light? Where have I got confused that belonging and authenticity don't belong together? What outdated identity am I ready to liberate myself from? What outdated identity, what old stuff is coming up to be healed so that I can liberate myself from that and step forward into this new identity? Aquarians are smart and they think outside of the box. So, where am I being asked this full moon to think differently? How can I think outside of the box? How can I contribute my gifts to the collective? If I really was being myself and I was owning that Leo leadership, where I shine, how I came here to shine, my sun sign, my gifts that I have, how can I contribute that to the collective? What does freedom look and feel like to me? What does freedom look and feel like to me? If you could visualize freedom in your life for a moment, what would that look like? And if you could viscerally feel that in your body, what would that feel like? And if you no longer needed anyone's permission, if you no longer needed validation or approval from anyone, and you no longer needed anyone to understand you, who would you become? If you could just stand in your own light, in your own freedom, in your own authenticity, and you didn't need anything from anyone else, and you were okay being different, knowing that you completely belonged, who would you become? So I want you to reflect on those, spend some time journaling with them. But now I would like you to just close your eyes for a quick little meditation to tune in. So taking in a deep breath with me, inhaling through the nose, exhale out through the mouth. As you exhale out through the mouth, just allow yourself to drop deeper into the body. Imagine now that your mind is allowing your self to just drop deeper into the body, almost as if all the energy gathered around your mind is starting to just disperse through your body so that you can feel your body, so that you can feel embodied in this moment. And I want you to just continue to breathe with that, and maybe even seeing these little golden sparkles of energy that have been caught up in the mind, that airy energy of Aquarius, just starting to just percolate through the body now. All these golden little sparkles just starting to spread through your physical body, through to all parts of your physical body, down your throat, through your shoulders, down your arms into your fingertips, letting those golden little sparkles move through your chest, torso and spine, down into the hips and the genitals, down the legs and all the way into the feet. So your whole body, as you close your eyes and tune in here, is just full of all of these beautiful little golden specks of light, so that you are connected to your entire body, just at one with your entire body. And as you feel that, I want you to feel this sense of grounding that comes with that. This sense of heaviness, and not a heaviness in a bad way, but in a heaviness of room. I'm here. I'm anchored. And if you're struggling with that, I want you to ask yourself to just be anchored. It's safe for me to anchor in this moment. And as we anchor in this moment, I want you to imagine an anchor starting to just flow down now from your feet. And allow this anchor, this rope and this anchor to just fall down from your feet, and let it be infused with all of these specks of light, all of these golden little specks of light, as this anchor anchors down now, down, 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 down into the very heart of the earth, into the very core of Mother Earth, anchoring you down, pulling you down, making you feel more solid, more in the body, more at peace, more held. Take a deep breath and just allow yourself to be held in this moment. Deeply inhaling, deeply exhaling, letting everything become a little calmer, a little more spacious in the mind and in the body, as you give yourself full permission to experience this sense of solidity, this sense of anchoring, and this sense of now connection with the earth, not trapped in the mind, but deeply connected into the earth. And as you are connected down into that anchor, into the earth now, I want you to see these beautiful golden specks of light start to just disperse through the earth. And I want you to see how you are deeply connected and part of the earth and part of humanity. And maybe seeing everyone who does this meditation on this full moon, everyone who's connecting, also anchored into the earth. And I want you to feel and sense and see and know this sense of community and connection here with the all. Knowing that as you bring your unique light down into this, that you are one and at peace and whole with every single human being also doing this too. Start to see all those beautiful golden anchors in the center of the earth, and let all of those specks of light weave and connect with other specks of light, allowing you to feel even more solid and anchored and part of the whole. And as you breathe with that now, we're going to allow your higher consciousness, your soul light, your unique essence to start to stream down now through that question of how do I think differently? We're going to call for that soul light and that different way of thinking that we may need at this time on the earth to start to stream down through you. And so I want you to just visualize these beautiful golden specks of light starting to pour through the top of your head, your crown chakra, and starting to now connect with and infuse with all of the other golden specks of light that are dispersed through your body now. Letting that new way of thinking and being and feeling and that frequency that brings merge with all of these specks of light through the head and the face, down through the neck and the throat, and all of those specks of light in the shoulders, down the arms into the hands, down the chest and the torso, through the spine and all of the internal organs, all the way down into the hips and the genitals and the glutes, down through the legs, through the knees, all the way to the feet. And let those new specks of light come all the way down that rope and down into that anchor. And let that new way of thinking and being and feeling and acting and the person that you're becoming, that higher version of you, start to anchor into the earth and start to disperse out around, all around you. And take a moment now to see everyone else the same as we anchor our unique essence, our truth here in this new way of being and feeling and knowing and connecting. Anchor into the earth and connect with the all and seeing how that supports all, how there's no competition, how there's no one leader, but we all get to lead in our own unique life here on this planet as we all work as one, feeling even more deeply held and connected by this. And I want you to just take a moment to place your hands on your heart and to really just tune in, spend a minute here just tuning in to you, to that new way of thinking, feeling, being, and knowing, to who you're becoming. And I want you to say out loud the answers to these questions that I'm about to read. Just let the first thing that comes to you just fall out of your mouth. Under this full moon, I release. Answering that question. Under this full moon, I forgive. Answering that question. Under this full moon, I choose. Answering that question. Under this full moon, I trust. Answering that question. Under this full moon, I am becoming. Answering this question. Take a deep breath with that. I want to leave you with one last question to sit with and ponder on and maybe even journal about under this full moon. The future version of me is calling me towards. answering that question. And if you loved this, when you come out of your meditation, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave me a comment about what came through. Come back and use this process again, actually under the full moon, and sending you so much love. Bye.